economic power, which in turn foster immense and corrupting disparities in political power, aggravated by minimal regulation of campaign spending and lobbying. Popular and scholarly discussions of the frightening erosion of American political and legal norms sometimes contrast the Trump era with an age of robust democracy in the latter half of the 20th century, when the United States was governed by statesmen rather than grifters. From the end of World War II until about 1980, democracy worked reasonably well because we were less complacent and more interested in institution building, commented Brookings Institution Senior Fellow Isabel Sawhill. The period from the end of World War II until the end of the Cold War was unique. It required U.S. leadership and a willingness to use our resources and power to check tyrants and encourage democracy around the world. Without a commitment to provide that kind of indispensable leadership going forward, a liberal world order and democracy itself are at risk. Without denying the novelty and vigor of President Trump's recent assault on traditional ethical and legal norms, this book challenges the myth of a golden age of American democracy. It tells a largely neglected story of how well-protected criminals systematically organized the corruption of American politics and business at a national level in the post-World War II era. Instead of offering a general survey, I've chosen to dive more deeply but selectively into several largely forgotten or unknown cases from the first quarter century of the Cold War, when the greatest generation governed the nation. National dismay over political corruption in the Truman administration was an important driver of the Republicans' landslide victory in the 1952 elections. It seriously threatened Lyndon Johnson's political career in 1963 and 1964. It also brought down Richard Nixon after his historic re-election in 1972 and his celebrated foreign policy triumphs with China and the Soviet Union. These cases exposed ongoing and systemic failings of the U.S. political system, not simply isolated examples of personal wrongdoing. Those failings had, and today still have, serious consequences. As Garment Workers Union official Gus Tyler observed decades ago, "Crime in politics is a direct challenge to the moral basis of American liberalism. The growth of the welfare state as an economic phenomenon is no proof that the people will be free or unoppressed. Crime in politics shakes faith in government, any government, as a creator of commodities or a dispenser of services. Crime in politics is a direct challenge to the political basis of liberalism." That assessment, published in 1962, is even more relevant today in the wake of the Trump presidency. American historians have yet to fully acknowledge those challenges, however. Historians today address a host of national shortcomings, but appear to regard corruption as a barely detectable eddy in the larger current of events, with no lasting political significance. Some scholars even question its moral significance. Biographer Alonzo Hamby belittled widespread corruption in Truman's administration as piddling and a mere problem of public relations. Historian Robert Farrell claimed that the mess in Washington during the Truman years was basically about minor or irrelevant matters. The only scholarly volume on those scandals, by Andrew J. Dunar, calls them tempests from teapots, resulting from minor flaws in Truman's makeup. As Chapter 2 explores in detail, such assessments hardly seem valid ways to characterize revelations that rocked the Internal Revenue Bureau, Reconstruction Finance Corporation, Democratic National Committee, and the White House itself, leading to dozens of resignations, indictments, and convictions, and contributing to Truman's humiliating defeat in a 1952 presidential primary race. The corrupt behavior and associations of Lyndon Johnson's close friend and political aide Robert "Bobby" Baker provides grist for 4 chapters in this book. Baker's misdeeds, which implicated several national politicians as well as powerful mobsters, ignited one of the biggest U.S. political scandals of the 1960s. That controversy created serious rifts between the Kennedy brothers and the vice president in 1963, and even raised doubts about whether LBJ would remain on the ticket in 1964. At the same time,